Hello and welcome to Tonalist Painting with M. Francis McCarthy. This is your painter in residence, M. Francis McCarthy, and this is a little painting that I'm kind of sticking in the flow. We did, I don't know which one we did last week. I think it was called Midsummer Stream. We did a 5x5 for that, and I will be rolling that out tomorrow. This is Saturday, and I just finished doing the video for the 25 Days of Tonalism post, which was a nice Francis Murphy painting, but I think I'll stick this one in tonight as well, mostly because I just feel bad because I've been talking about this so much, and I figure it's really not fair since you may have no idea what the heck I'm talking about. But you can see here I've got this very, very heavily textured board. Now I have since backed off of this, but again, this was triggered by a fellow who's a friend on Facebook and a really, really good painter in the UK, and he works on very heavily textured boards, which he works on a white gesso. This I textured with a black gesso, and then I went over it with a layer of burnt umber oil paint. My reasoning being that the black would be a better support color for me, since I like that darker underpainting tone. So right now you can see I'm doing the drawing, and it's actually this one doesn't look tiny if you don't have any sense of scale. So I mean, like here you can see my fingers are hands, and that gives you a sense of how small it is, but it's actually really small. I have some 3x3s that I'll be springing on you too, but I ran this video archive for this last night. It's the only photo that I've done well, I have to go into Photoshop and get rid of the specular highlights. Now, this painting is currently consigned to Burning Issues Gallery here in Fongaray, and I have high hopes that people are going to be interested in these very small landscape paintings and find them as enchanting as I do. You never know, though. It's funny. You never know what the market's going to do. It's some of the things I think are really terrible end up being successful, and some of the things that I think are going to be successful nobody cares about. So ultimately, you can't really worry too much about that sort of thing. If you're a painter, you have to do what you believe is best in all cases, and that's what I'm up to. So, like I said, I'll be investing. I'm going. This is still lunchtime here on Saturday. I'm going to be going back in the studio doing a little 3x3 this afternoon. Not 3x3, excuse me, 3.5x5. So this is the very same size, a slightly less textured board. It'll be like the third one I've done that size, and so far I've been real happy with all of the little paintings I've done that size. There's one that it's a bit, the reference, funny enough, I think I've used this reference to do a painting before, and I thought, well, I had some issues with that, and I thought, well, I'll overcome them, but kind of some of the same issues sort of cropped up, but still a good little painting. I don't know when or where I'll be. I did videotape it, but we'll see how it goes. Anyway, the thing that's interesting about, I guess the mentioned in my 25 Days of Tonalism video that I have done a varnish coat over this painting with a matte varnish from Gamblin. It's called Gamisol. It's matte, and it was really interesting because I did this at I did the varnish at the very end of the day, and I'm putting on, and it looks totally wet, and I'm thinking, well, this is bogus. And now I've had matte varnishes before in the past that didn't actually work, so I guess I had it in my brain that this might not actually work. And the key with the matte varnish is that you always have to shake it really well, because the thing that brings in the matte quality is wax generally. Anyway, when I came in the morning the next day, everything was so matte, and it was really kind of freaking me out. I was like, wow, this looks kind of flat and dead, I'm used to that satiny sheen, but I got used to it, and I think given the extensive texture, pardon me, that was my dog barking at nothing. Go lay down. Anyway, sorry for that. That's Denny. Denny was probably with me when I painted this painting. He's my constant companion in the studio, and here at the house today since my wife's out delivering a baby. She's busy, so I am hanging out with Denny all day long. One more bark. Yeah. A slice of my home life there for you. Anyway. Like I said, just wanted to share this because I've been talking not only about the miniatures but about the heavy texture, and I think this is a nice little painting. It's actually based on a scene that, oh man, I took that photo over 10 years ago now with my old digital camera, and I used to have this trail I would ride my bike to go to my job, and it was really beautiful, especially in the morning and the late afternoon, which were the times I was commuting. And I have done a painting out of this before. It was probably 6x9, and I have it around somewhere. And it's actually a pretty good painting. There were a few issues with the painting which were based mostly on the cropping. And I can say, getting back into the 3.5x5 thing, one thing I've been doing is like, if you look at the early stages, you probably see a pencil line that's about 1/8 inch in all the way around, and that's just to remind me not to put anything too close to the edge, since a 1/4 inch of a frame overlap from the rabbit of the molding can really eat up a lot. So actually, if you see that one tree trunk on our left that's close to the edge there, that was actually going off the edge of the reference, so I pulled that in a little bit and made some adjustments. But all in all, I'm happy with this little painting. I will be doing this as a larger scene coming up. I don't know when exactly. I've kind of got my head around these 5x7 redos right now, and also just finishing up these little tiny paintings. So last night I went through my my files, and just kind of grabbing. One of the things I'm thinking on these 3x3s is that it's a kind of interesting way for me to revisit some scenes I've done before, which normally I work the opposite. I would maybe repaint a scene I've done before much larger. In this case, I'm going backwards and painting it much smaller. But you'll see, actually, I really would encourage you on this one, if you don't always go to the blog, this might be a good one to go check out, because it's fascinating what it looks like close up. To me, it looks really cool and fresh and immediate and gestural. When you're zoomed out, of course, it's just me trying to get the landscape across as best as I can, but this painting took me about 40 minutes. Now that wouldn't include the time in prepping the board and prepping the image and all that other stuff, but actual painting time, this is one pass, including the drawing, about 45 minutes altogether, and we've got it sped up about 4 times faster than how I painted it. So most of my videos, I think, are sped up a bit more than that, but this is so small. It doesn't take that long to paint, which is one of the reasons why I'm actually selling these pretty cheaply, and they look nice in the little frames I have for them. I was working on some easel backs too, which I still have to kind of get that down. They were working, but they kind of slide on certain surfaces, so whatever. And I may actually end up putting these on little easels like you get in the craft store. That could end up being a more stable way to go. We'll see. Anyway, hey, thanks for joining me today. If you like this video, please click subscribe and follow my channel, and they'll let you know when I put one of these up. And I've been throwing some bonuses at you guys, so pretty consistent. As you know, generally around the weekend you can count on seeing something. But like I said, click subscribe. Also, you can go to my website, landscapepainter.co.nz. I will be back tomorrow with Midsummer Stream. I think it's an 11 by 11, so please come back for that. And sorry to mess up the flow, but I did want to share this with you guys. So see you tomorrow. Meanwhile, please take good care and stay out of trouble.